You gonna filter out the swears? Okay, good. Because I'm gonna swear like a friggin' trucker. Although I just said friggin'. Doesn't make any sense, Scotty. Shut the hell up, we're filming a TV show! I don't know, should I address the camera or should I just act normal? Wrapping up the week, right? Back in the early 2000s, events like Comic-Con that had been mostly focused on printed comics and art transformed into larger media events as movie companies began taking part in this vehicle to promote films and properties to a die-hard fan base. As toy manufacturers followed suit, the creation of event-exclusive toys became some of the most highly collectible toys a collector could have. As a designer at LEGO, I've had the opportunity to work on a number of events in the past, both Comic-Con, Toy Fair, and Fan Celebration, and I'm going to talk about the exclusive toys that I have in my collection from many of these events, and of course, talk about some of the toys in my collection that connect to my childhood. Okay, so it's been a little while, and I've been pretty busy with work stuff, so and other things going on, so it took a little longer. There was definitely a couple weeks ago there was a town hall. I kind of spoke up quite a bit in. To be perfectly honest, I was a bit frustrated too, but because the lady took the microphone away from me where I didn't get a chance to like follow up, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know what motivates me to do all these things. I feel like I can't help myself. But anyway, I'm hoping to do a little bit of a mixed bag today. I'm going to talk a little bit about some exclusives that I have that are LEGO related, and I don't know, whatever else kind of stuff I'm going to throw in there. I've kind of had a couple of the episodes that were really focused on specific characters, and the Super Friends one seemed to be pretty popular. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, why Super Friends resonated so much. I've just learning a little bit as far as the things that catch and the things that don't. But yeah, I'm just gonna do whatever, and I kind of don't really care because this is just like therapy for me. All right, so I've got a couple Toy Fair exclusives and a couple Comic-Con exclusives I'm going to share. They're LEGO exclusives. There's a couple here. I'm going to start with, a lot of these go back a little bit, but these, I've got a couple of these Comic-Con exclusive, the Hobbits, it's Bard the Bowman. We hit, these are ones that they would sell at Comic-Con. I believe they would sell them as exclusives. They're pretty cool. You'd be shocked at LEGO. These are actually, they're sort of damaged, and so that's why they just gave us these. And actually, if you go online, they're actually worth quite a bit. But so I had, I had like 4 of these. I gave a couple to other people. They're worth a pretty good penny online, and obviously the Hobbit was big back quite a few years ago, almost 10 years ago now. So pretty cool, exclusive, Comic-Con exclusive. I don't have all of them, but I have some. Some I have sort of buried in the archives. There are some boxes that I have that are just things that sort of archival LEGO stuff, some old sets and things that are just, they're not on display, they're being preserved, so, and that's kind of buried, so I'm not gonna dig them up. But anyway, these are the ones that when I was setting this whole place up, that were readily available. The next one is it's a Toy Fair exclusive actually, and so Toy Fair happens every February. Used to be a much bigger thing than it was. So anytime there would be like a major launch of a product, which in this case, I believe that we were launching Indiana Jones, and then there's also like a Star Wars factor to this too. So they would make some kind of giveaway that they would give to retailers, or because Toy Fair is all, there's no public involved. It's all retailers. They visit manufacturers and they see the new toys, they see the new lines. They very often will order product. So, they would get product at Toy Fair, and then they would have these, they didn't do this a lot, but in this case, they had this sort of giveaway or a promotional item. And, it's Indiana Jones, and then it turned around to the other side, and I realized I'm missing Han Solo. There's a Han Solo minifigure. Probably fell off somewhere, probably at the bottom of a box. So I got to find that now. But pretty cool. I spent a lot of time over the years working on Toy Fair as a designer. I've designed a number of the booths in the past, a number of the concepts for the models we would use there. I spent a better part between 2004 and probably 2014. So almost 10 years working on Toy Fair booth executions, and it's fun and it's interesting, and yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting sort of time, and I think it really got minimized a lot by COVID. There were a couple years that it didn't happen, and now I'm not exactly sure how impactful it is overall in the grand scheme. But yeah, it's cool. This is it's a fairly rare item, and then I'm going to share another Comic-Con exclusive. This one is a Star Wars, or actually this is a fan celebration exclusive. You can just see one of the minifigures fell in the back there. So these were handmade, and pretty cool that I believe that they sold these at the booth 2007. 2007. And when the new movies had already sort of passed, but this was the sort of the classic Star Wars, it's Empire Strikes Back sort of approach to it. Pretty cool. This one is another one that would, not appear in most people's collection. You'd have to, get this at Comic-Con. They were exclusive numbers that they had for these, and we actually worked on these in the design team that I was in, and then we would get one each, and if they had a special number, we would just get the overruns. So they weren't always perfect. Like this one has a sort of a minifigure that's become unglued in the back. The Stormtrooper has become unglued. I don't have much Star Wars in my collection. There's not something that I have chosen to collect, even though I'm not going to diss Star Wars collectors because there's some awesome collectibles there. It's just something that I had to define the things that I loved, and believe it or not, Star Wars was not something that I had as a child. Partly because of my story about Star Wars, that I didn't get to see the first movie because my mom gave us a choice of either I could either see Star Wars like my brother, which was $2 for a movie, or I could have the $6 Million Man, which was $14.99. And I chose the $6 Million Man, and my mom did not like my choice, but she made sure that I did not see Star Wars. So for a whole year, I never saw Star Wars. And I got a book. There was a book I could look through, so I wasn't like a total social misfit when everyone was talking about Star Wars, and I had no idea what they were talking about because I chose the more expensive toy over. It's $2. Like, she could have just given me the damn movie too, but whatever. She felt gypped. She felt like she was. I got him. Anyway, so exclusive Star Wars item here, and I got one more. This one goes back 1 year, and this is a Batman 2006. So they just re-released Batman sets. Like, I keep it in the plastic, and this was a really cool exclusive as well. And you can see inside here, and you've got the Joker and Batman. A lot of these were, it's just a print production, sort of a book made, and yeah, this was number 1. Okay, I had no idea this was number 1. This is bizarre. See, I really should look at this stuff before I just put it out there. Anyway, this is a really cool, this comic sort of styling. This is one of the illustrators that I still work with. Tim, he worked on this, and some really great artwork. He's an amazing artist. All right, got some more. So these were for 2012 Comic-Con. We got them on these little stands, but there were these exclusive minifigures with these cards. These are actually quite rare as well. So you've got Black Suit Spider-Man, and then you've got Bizarro. They really did a great job on the the artwork on the card, so it's comic sort of inspired. But there's quite a few of these, and these actually went over really big at Comic-Con back then. Shazam, again, really cool. The figure is actually glued to the back of the card, and I've got these on stands because they're kind of cool to display that way. And then we have Phoenix. So it was sort of an equal mix of DC and Marvel. I think there's one more of these characters. I don't know if I had them all. It was really great that we were able to get some of these. I didn't go to 2012 San Diego Comic-Con, but it was great that we were able to get them. Again, it was one of those things that's we get like the overruns, so that was pretty nice. They don't do anything like this anymore, and our creative team doesn't. At least my creative team isn't part of the same group anymore, so I don't even know what's going on with stuff, which is pretty sad. There's some perks. There's some things I know that they don't know, so it's not like they get all the good stuff. But from a toy perspective, stuff like this doesn't really happen anymore. We were a little smaller back then. All right, so I just wanted to address one thing that I in the town hall, I asked a pretty tough question, and but somebody later said that I got my ass kicked in that town hall. I'm like, hang on a second. I asked a tough question. I definitely got the chief people officer, Lauren, a little upset, and he didn't like the word that I chose to use, which I will not use now. But I think it was a fair question, and it was a hard question, and I think that sometimes you have to ask hard questions, and there's an opportunity there for someone else too. If you ask a challenging question, that they get to answer in a challenging sort of way. So he kind of poked at me quite a bit. I didn't have a microphone on me. I was getting frustrated there. I was like, hey, we want to do the dance, give me a microphone back. But outside of that, I feel like if you're going to ask, if you're going to participate in challenging people, that you kind of have to expect that you're going to get the same in return, and then I didn't have any problem with that. So I didn't get my ass kicked, and if I did, I could do that all day. So yeah, I will be back. All right, so I got one more. And this is actually from 2011 Comic-Con, and it's a Green Lantern figure on a card. So I really think this one probably inspired the other ones. Could have showed them in order, but and pretty cool. This back here, 2011 exclusive, super challenge. So yeah, pretty cool. This definitely again was one of those items that anything that's an exclusive at Comic-Con is definitely collectible. So it's great to be able to get some of these, especially they're superhero related, so they fit sort of the confines of my collection. All right, so this one is it's not a big deal. It's a little Hulk minifigure. He was a promotional figure for a Lego retail promotional figure. It's actually pretty hard to get this one. I remember asking around for it, but he, normally the Hulk that you see that we have in the sets is all the big minifigure version, which is appropriate, right? Because he's larger than everyone else. So this one was a bit of an anomaly. It was a promotional giveaway or some kind of thing at Lego retail, and Yeah, and he's really cool, and I don't know, just different. I remember the struggle to try to get him. I had to like, my brother works at Lego too, and he was working on getting it for me from someone. So, it's a little bit special. You know, I mean, it's a tiny little minifigure, but you'd be surprised. You're looking for this on eBay, it's like $40 for one minifigure. So I don't know, but that's how collectors are. So, yeah. All right, so this one's kind of weird because I typically don't buy a lot of things outside of the realm that I am interested in, which is mostly superheroes, Simpsons, Star Trek. I have the list, but I remember seeing these at a Walmart, and it's very rare. This was back in, I think, 2005. It's very rare that a manufacturer at that point would do a reproduction run. And I purchased all of these reproduction G.I. Joe in the box. They're basically exactly like they were first issued. So they're like total reproductions. There's obviously some differences in the packaging, but they're really accurate. And it was really surprising to me to see, Hasbro do something like this. It was very unique. I've got a couple of these that I've opened, but I have all of them. And the G.I. Joe figures are exact replicas to the original G.I. Joes. I was not allowed as a kid to have any toys that were military in nature. My mom had all these rules. They put us at risk in the neighborhood. All these rules about no military. It's very similar to what Lego's rules are. No no modern weapons of warfare. So we never had any like toy guns. Toy guns were all the rage, by the way. The whole neighborhood was shooting each other all the time, and we were like holding sticks. That was all we had to defend ourselves with. And the G.I. Joe toys that were out in the 70s were incredible. There was a spaceship and a friggin' Jeep, and like we'd go over the neighbor's house and they'd have like all these amazing gigantic toys that we couldn't have because they were too militaristic. Anyway, but yeah, I've got the whole series. Some of these I haven't actually even opened. They all got the Kung Fu Grip, the Land Adventurer. This guy's got camo. And then we've got the Air Adventurer. I think this one I opened. Yeah. Some of them are still sealed, but and these are the ones. This is the guy who was in the helicopter. Like I remember, going over my friend Russell's house, and they had the giant helicopter. It was a big yellow helicopter, and this guy was in it and stuff, and it was like, holy moly. It was like toy heaven over there. It was all sitting on a shelf, and we'd be like, hey, can we play with those? And they're like, nah, not really. Like, what? They were so pristine. I wonder if they're still there. Probably. They were so pristine. Everything was kept so pristine. All the toys. We were at awe at that whole thing. Yeah. So another G.I. Joe Adventurer. This one's open as well. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool, right? I mean, they reproduce them really, really accurately. And so I was very much into, like a retro stuff. And so another one here. And this one I think is the Sea Adventurer. Yeah, Sea Adventurer. So there was like a boat. May have been a submarine. I mean, they had so many cool G.I. Joe things. This guy's got like a gun on him and a knife, and those were off limits for us. Now you could see some of the. Oh yeah, I remember this. They had this thing, this buggy, and then there was all kinds of different submarines. So many cool vehicles. We always were like into the gigantic stuff, the vehicles, and G.I. Joe had so many of these in the 12-inch size. The Jeep was like 3 feet long. It was so cool. It was so cool. Maybe it was 2 feet long, but it's still, as a kid, it felt like an extra foot. But yeah, I mean, these were really cool, and I actually think they're worth something now. Much more. I paid $10 for these. That's why I bought them all. I was like, $10 a piece for anything retro. Gotta get it. I think they're like 60 online or something. Um, they're obviously not the originals, but they reproductions actually can command a certain amount of money though. But I wouldn't give them up. They're a cool piece of the collection. They remind me of those moments of my childhood of envy of the neighbors, having all the cool GI Joe stuff, and we were stuck with nothing else. We had our superheroes. We didn't, there was a dramatic comparison that we learned that other children were getting way more toys than us, when we would go over their houses. At least that's the way it looked. Maybe it was because they were all unfamiliar to us. I don't know. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Mom. How's that sound? Yeah. It was one of those moments in my childhood that when I saw these, I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get them. If there was any of those vehicles were reproduction in the store, the 12-inch size, I probably would be tempted to get some of those too.
Introducing the new G.I. Joe Adventure Team. 5 rugged men with lifelike hair. They're outfitted for action, and they take their orders from this man, the Adventure Team Commander.
I've got a tough assignment for you.
The G.I. Joe Adventure Team. They'll dare anything and risk everything. Collect the new G.I. Joe Adventure Team and add to the action with Adventure Team sets. G.I. Joe, now with lifelike hair from Hasbro. This is the rugged G.I. Joe Adventure Team. Today's mission, rescue stolen idol. Your own G.I. Joe will need the Adventure Team helicopter. Joe gets it together and takes off. There it is, but it's guarded by a giant cobra. Can Joe get the idol? You find out. Search for the stolen idol, a G.I. Joe adventure. G.I. Joe sold separately.
All right, so that's pretty much it. I've been working on some stuff for work. It's been pretty busy, and it was a little delay between the last one and this one. Probably continue to be a little bit delayed. I'd always planned to do them sort of more frequently, but depending on how busy work is. And I do plan on sharing some of the things that I've been doing for work. There are some cool projects. Been doing a lot of stuff in China. There is stuff that's coming that would be really fun to share, but obviously I can't share it just yet. So and those are cool. They're cool projects, and they're very energizing. But I'm also looking at how I share some of the toy stuff. Obviously the retro stories and things are of interest to people. They're also of pretty big interest to me. It's sort of fun to recant them. So probably continue to do that, but also looking at maybe having a guest on. I think that could be fun. I know quite a few creative people out there, and it would be fun to be able to talk some toys. A lot of them are toy collectors as well, and so I think it'd be fun to do some of that. It's pretty much a giant experiment. I have no idea where where we'll land on anything, but it's a journey, and at the end of the day, it's all just for fun. So I guess that's it.
Face any threat, no matter the size.
You just don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.